Hello everyone, good morning. I hope you're good and safe at home. I'm Teacher Shikin and today we will be learning about
wet and dry.
But before we start with today's lesson, let's watch this video.
Children, today we will be learning the concept of wet and dry. Wet and dry are the opposite of each other. Here are a few examples of wet and dry. Look at this picture. It is raining, but the girl who is holding an umbrella is not wet. She is dry. Why? Because she is using an umbrella to prevent herself from getting wet in the rain. However, the other girl who does not carry an umbrella with her is getting wet. Do you know why? It is because she does not have an umbrella to protect her against the rain. Now next one. Look at this picture. As you can see, the pants are hanging on a clothesline. I think the blue pants is wet. Do you know why? Because there are some water dripping down from the blue pants. Therefore, it is wet. Now, what about the yellow pants? Do you think that it's dry?
Yes.
Why?
Because there is no water dripping down from it. Therefore, it is dry.
Correct. Very well observed. Next, in this picture, you can see that both of these children are wearing the swimming attire. The boy is dripping wet Because he has just come out of the swimming pool. Thus, he is wet, while the girl remains dry, as she has yet to enter the swimming pool. Now look at this picture. There are two sponges. This sponge is wet, and this sponge is dry. What about this picture over here? Can you tell me which one has dry hair? Yes, this person's hair is dry, while this person over here, her hair is wet. Dry hair, wet hair. Let's look at the last picture. There are two pairs of boots. This pair of boots is covered with mud, and it is wet. The other pair of boots does not have any muds on, and it is dry. Alright, I hope that you have understood the concept of wet and dry. Now, let's recap. Wet, dry. Wet pants, dry pants. He is wet. She is dry. This sponge is wet, and this sponge is dry. Wet hair, dry hair. Wet boots, dry boots. Good job, everyone! Alright, children, now let's do some experiments to understand better about the concept of wet and dry. For these experiments, we need two bowls, two pieces of tissues, two pouches made out of cloth or any other types of cloth, and some water. Now, pour some water into the first bowl and leave the other bowl empty. And then take a tissue and soak it into the first bowl. As you can see, the tissue is soaked in water. It is wet. Wet. Now, let's put another piece of tissue into the empty bowl. Do you see any changes? Yes, you are right. The tissue remains dry, as there is no water in the bowl. Wet tissue, dry tissue. Now, let's try with the cloth pouch. I want you to take one pouch and soak it into the bowl that contains water in it. Look, the pouch absorbs water and it is wet. Now, let's put the other pouch into the empty bowl. Do you see any changes to the pouch? No. The cloth pouch remains dry as it is not soaked into water. Wet pouch, dry pouch. Alright, I'm sure that you have understood the concept of wet and dry. I hope you will try these experiments at home. You can try out with different objects too. Good luck and have fun doing some experiments, everyone!
Please take out Smart Science 4.2 book.
Alright children, please turn to page 15. Wet and dry. Basah dan kering. Alright, there are two pictures on this page. Let's look at the first picture. It is a rainy day. Look at this boy. Is he wet? Yes, he is wet. Do you know why? It is because he does not have umbrella to protect him against the rain. Oh, poor boy. He got drenched in the rain and his clothes are wet. Wet. In Bahasa Malaysia, basah. Alright, now let's look at the second picture. The sun is shining brightly in the afternoon. The girl is feeling very hot and thirsty due to hot weather. Her clothes are dry. Dry. Kering. Let's recap again. Wet, basah. Dry, kering. Alright children, please turn to page 16. Circle all the wet items and cross out all the dry items below. Bulatkan semua benda yang basah dan pangkahkan semua benda yang kering di bawah. Alright, the pictures that we have here are a wet towel, a computer, a pair of shoes soaked in a pail, and some books. So, which one of these objects are wet?
The towel, teacher. The towel is wet.
Yes, the towel is wet. Anything else that is wet?
The shoes, teacher. The shoes are wet.
Yes, the shoes are wet. Now, let's circle the towel and the shoes. Now tell me which objects are dry.
The computer and the books, teacher.
Yes, correct. The computer and the books are dry. Now let's cross out the computer and the books. Alright, let's move on to the next exercise. Match the opposites. Padankan gambar yang berlawanan. What is the meaning of opposites? It means something or someone that is different from something or someone else. Now, before we proceed, let's look at this picture. Let's identify the pictures on the left first. A wet towel, someone with wet hair, a wet shirt, a pair of wet shoes. Now on this side, a pair of dry shoes, a dry shirt, someone with dry hair, and a dry towel. Alright children, now let's match the pictures. Alright children, now let's match the pictures. What is the opposite of a wet towel? Is it a pair of dry shoes?
No, teacher. The opposite of a wet towel is the dry towel, teacher.
Yes. Now let's match these two pictures. Next, what is the opposite of someone with wet hair? Is it the dry shirt?
No, teacher. We should match this picture to the picture of someone with dry hair.
Very good. Now let's match these pictures. Now, what about the wet shirt and the pair of wet shoes?
We should match the wet shirt to the dry shirt and the pair of wet shoes to the pair of dry shoes.
Yes, that's right. Now let's match them. Alright, I hope you have understood the concept of wet and dry. That is all for today's lesson. Good job, everyone.
Okay, that's all for today. Till we meet again. Bye-bye.